Night was falling fast. Dark clouds covered the sky, and heavy rain hit the roads like thousands of tiny stones. Mark, a tired single dad, drove his old car slowly through the storm. His 7-year-old daughter, Lily, sat in the back seat, hugging her small stuffed rabbit. They were returning from a late doctor visit. The world outside looked empty, no people, no cars, only the sound of rain and wind. Mark turned on the heater, trying to keep Lily warm. Suddenly, Lily leaned forward and pointed through the foggy window. "Dad, look!" Mark narrowed his eyes. On the side of the road, near a lonely bus stop with no roof, sat 2 old people. They did not move. They did not react to the cold. They just sat very still, as if lost in another world. Mark slowed the car. Something felt strange. The bus stop had a flickering light. As the car got closer, the strange feeling grew stronger. The 2 figures sitting there looked old, but not fully human. Their skin was pale and soft, almost glowing faintly in the darkness. Their eyes reflected the streetlight like silver mirrors. Their clothes were thin, not made for the cold rain. Mark stopped the car completely. "Should we help them?" Lily asked softly. Mark hesitated. His heart beat faster. He had seen many strange people in life, but nothing like this. Something about their faces, their shape, their stillness, felt not human. But they looked weak, cold, abandoned. Mark opened his window a little. "Excuse me, do you need help?" he called out. The old man slowly lifted his head. His movement was gentle but unnatural, as if he was not used to Earth's gravity. He opened his mouth to speak, but the sound that came out was a soft, trembling whisper in a language Mark had never heard. The old woman touched the man's arm and tried to stand. She almost fell. Her legs shook. She held a small broken device that glowed blue for a moment before dying. Mark suddenly felt a deep sadness from them, as if their hearts were full of fear and pain. He didn't understand why, but he felt it. Lily opened her door a little. "Dad, they look so scared." The old woman looked at Lily with gentle silver eyes. For a moment, Mark saw something impossible. A faint ripple of light ran across her skin, like a star flickering under water. Mark froze. These were not normal people. The old man tried again to speak. This time, one word came out in weak, broken English. "Home." "Lost," Lily gasped. Mark's mind raced. Who were they? Why were they sitting alone in the rain? Why did they look so otherworldly? The old man reached out his trembling hand. His fingers were long and thin, glowing softly, the light of a dying ember. Something inside Mark changed in that moment. Fear did not control him anymore. Instead, he felt a powerful urge to protect, an instinct that had grown stronger ever since Lily was born. He stepped out of the car with an umbrella and walked toward them. The rain hit hard, but he didn't stop. As he got closer, the truth became clear. Their eyes were not silver because of the light. Their skin did not glow because of the rain. They were not human. Mark took a sharp breath. Lily watched with wide eyes. The old couple looked at him with silent hope, as if begging him for safety. Lightning flashed behind them, and in that bright moment, Mark saw their full faces, alien, gentle, afraid. He did not know it yet. But this simple act of kindness would change everything. Rain poured heavier as Mark stood in front of the strange elderly couple. For a moment, time felt slow. The old man's silver eyes blinked weakly, and the old woman held her small glowing device close to her chest. The device buzzed once, then went silent again. Mark felt cold water running down his neck, but he did not move. Part of him wanted to run back inside the car. Another part, stronger, told him he could not leave these 2 beings alone to suffer. Behind him, little Lily opened the car door wider. "Dad, are they okay?" Her voice was soft and worried. Mark didn't know the answer. The old woman suddenly tried to speak. Her lips trembled, and she pointed to the sky as if trying to explain something. The words that escaped her mouth were not English, not any human language. Yet the emotion behind the sound was clear: fear, sadness, and loneliness. Mark knelt down slowly, keeping his hands visible so they wouldn't panic. The old man leaned forward and whispered one more broken word. Cold. That single word hit Mark's heart. He could see their hands shaking. Their clothes were wet and thin. They were suffering, no matter where they came from. Okay, Mark said quietly. You can come with us, we'll help you. The old woman looked surprised. The old man's eyes softened, glowing faintly as if hope returned to him. Mark helped them up. Their bodies were lighter than he expected, too light, like hollow bones. Their skin felt cool but soft, almost like warm glass. When they reached the car, Lily shuffled aside to make space. She held out her little jacket with both hands. You can take this if you want, she told the old woman. The woman touched the jacket gently. A soft smile spread across her alien face, warm and kind. She placed a trembling hand on Lily's head, and Lily giggled at the gentle touch. For the first time, Mark felt a strange comfort. These beings did not feel dangerous. They felt grateful. Mark shut the door and got into the driver's seat. But the moment he put his hands on the steering wheel, he noticed something unusual. A pair of headlights appeared. Far behind them on the dark road, a black van. Engine running fast. No lights on the roof, no markings. It moved with a quiet, deadly purpose. Mark frowned. That van wasn't there before. The old man suddenly tensed. His glowing eyes widened in fear. He touched Mark's shoulder urgently and shook his head. You know them? Mark asked. The old man didn't speak. He didn't need to. His hand trembled. His breathing became shallow, and the fear in his eyes told Mark everything. Whoever was inside that van, they were not friends. Dad, Lily whispered. Why is that van coming closer? Mark didn't answer. He started the engine and drove off, trying to act calm. But his hands were shaking. The black van followed slow at first, then faster. The old woman held the broken device again. She pressed its side, and it flashed a quick blue light that filled the car for a moment. The blue glow reflected on the windows, and Mark saw something shocking. A vision, a destroyed planet, buildings falling, people screaming, the elderly couple running for their lives. Mark gasped and nearly lost control of the car. The old man touched his arm again, this time gentler, apologizing without words. Mark understood. These two had escaped something terrible. They were hunted. And now the danger was coming closer. His breathing grew heavy. He looked at Lily through the mirror. She trusted him. She believed he could keep her safe. But now, he needed to protect more than just her. He needed to protect these poor, abandoned beings who looked to him for safety. Hold on, Mark whispered, gripping the wheel tighter. No one hurts you, not while you're with me. The van's headlights glowed brighter behind them. The chase had begun. The road ahead twisted through the dark countryside. With rain falling so hard, it looked like silver strings cutting through the night. Mark kept his hands tight on the steering wheel as the black van followed them like a silent shadow. Lily clutched her stuffed rabbit, eyes wide. Dad, they're still there, she whispered. Mark checked the mirror. The van had no number plate, no company logo. Its windows were dark, like a mask hiding something dangerous. Inside the car, the two elderly aliens sat stiffly. The old woman, Mira, held her broken blue device closer, while the old man, Aaron, kept his glowing silver eyes on the rear window. Aaron lifted a trembling finger and pointed at the van. His meaning was clear: danger. Mark swallowed hard. We're not going home. We're getting out of sight. He turned sharply onto a narrow side road, tires slipping on the wet asphalt. The van followed instantly, accelerating. Mira made a soft, fearful sound. Aaron placed his hand gently on her shoulder, comforting her without words. Mark felt a wave of emotion he could not explain. It was like their fear touched his own heart. And it pushed him harder. He hit the gas. The car sped through the forest road, trees flashing past like dark ghosts. The wind howled through broken branches. The headlights bounced across the muddy ground. "Dad, be careful." Lily cried. "I'm trying," Mark said, his voice tight. "Just hold on, sweetheart." Suddenly, Aaron leaned forward and touched Mark's arm again. In that instant, Mark saw a vision, not like before, clearer, stronger. He saw Aaron and Mira standing on a shining silver world. He saw a younger version of their people, tall, fast, strong, pushing the elderly aside like broken machines. He saw soldiers with sharp metallic armor. He saw the black van symbol 3 circles on their ships. He saw Aaron and Mira escaping in a small pod while their world burned behind them. Mark gasped and almost swerved. The vision faded. Aaron pulled his hand back, breathing heavily. The effort had drained him. Mark understood now. The people in the black van were not humans. They were hunters, the same kind of beings who had chased Aaron and Mira from their dying world. And now they wanted to take them back. Or worse, "They're not stopping," Mark muttered. "Why are they following? US? What do they want?" Mira lifted her head weakly. Her voice was thin and shaky, but one word came out in English. "Capture." Lily shivered. "Capture? That means they want to hurt them?" The old woman nodded. Mark, single quotes, as heartbeat thundered in his ears. He had no weapons. He had a child with him. And he had 2 helpless aliens who trusted him more than anyone else. But he could not let them be taken. He made a decision. There was a small dirt path ahead, a path he knew well. It led deeper into the forest toward an abandoned ranger station. No streetlights, no cameras, no signs. "Hold on," Mark said. He turned off the main road with a sudden jolt. The van followed. For a moment. But then the forest swallowed them both, and visibility dropped to almost zero. The van's headlights flickered through the trees, struggling to keep up. Aaron whispered something in his alien language. His hand glowed faintly, and suddenly the blue device in Myra's hand blinked back to life. A tiny map-like hologram appeared. It showed 3 red dots, 1 for the van. 2 more approaching from another direction. Mark's stomach dropped. "There are more of them?" he whispered. Mira nodded slowly. The forest shook with distant rumbling. "Not thunder. Engines." Lily grabbed Mark's sleeve, frightened. "Dad, what do we do?" Mark breathed deeply, eyes focused, mind racing. He was a simple man, a single father. No weapons, no superpowers, no plan. But he had courage. And he had something the hunters didn't have, a heart willing to protect strangers who needed him. "We escape," he said. "And we keep each other safe, all of us." He pressed harder on the gas. 3 enemy vehicles closed in. The night was no longer silent. The hunt had fully begun. The forest grew darker as Mark pushed the car deeper along the muddy path. Branches scraped the sides, the engine groaned, and the wipers struggled against the heavy rain. Behind them, the sound of engines grew faint, then disappeared. For a moment, silence returned. Only the rain remained. Mark slowed the car and finally stopped near an old wooden cabin hidden between tall, twisting trees. It was Mark's late father's ranger station, unused, forgotten, but still standing like a lonely shelter. Lily peered through the window. "Dad, are we safe now?" "I hope so," Mark said, though uncertainty sat heavy in his chest. Helped Aaron and Mira out of the car. Both aliens looked weaker than before. Mira's silver eyes were dim, and Aaron's steps were slow and shaking. Inside the cabin, Mark lit a small lantern. Soft yellow light filled the room, revealing dust, old maps, and broken chairs. But at least it was dry and warm. Mira sat down, holding her glowing device close. Aaron sank onto a wooden bench. Breathing heavily, Lily brought them blankets and placed them gently around their shoulders. "Thank you." "Little light," Mira whispered in her broken English. Lily smiled shyly. "You're welcome." Mark knelt in front of Aaron. "Who are those people chasing you?" he asked softly. "Why do they want you? What happened to your home?" Aaron's eyes shimmered. He tried to speak but failed. His voice cracked like a dry leaf. Mira placed her hand over his, and something passed between them, a silent connection. She lifted her head and looked at Mark. She pointed to herself and Aaron. Then she pointed upward, toward the sky. "From far," she said. Mark nodded. "Another planet?" Mira's eyes softened. She placed her hand on her chest. "Our world forgot us." Mark frowned, trying to understand. Mira pressed the glowing device. A weak hologram appeared above it, shimmering like smoke. Lily gasped at the sight. The hologram showed tall, strong beings marching proudly. Their skin shined bright, their bodies powerful. Then, slowly, the scene changed. It showed older beings, fragile, slow, gentle, pushed aside, ignored, left alone. Mira's voice shook. "Our people love youth. Strength. Old ones, no value." Mark felt something pinch inside his chest. "Are you saying they abandon the elderly?" Mira nodded with deep sadness. The hologram changed again. Now it showed flames, broken cities, and soldiers in sharp armor. Aaron and Mira ran through the chaos, clutching each other as their world fell apart. Then came the black van's symbol, 3 circles appearing again and again like a warning sign. Mira tapped the image. "Hunting. Group. They find old ones. Capture. Use for tests." Mark felt sick. "You were running from them?" "Yes," Mira whispered. "We hide many years, home gone, family gone." Lily's eyes filled with tears. She moved closer and hugged Mira's arm gently. "You're not alone now," Lily said. Mira touched Lily's cheek with a trembling hand, glowing faintly. Aaron finally spoke, voice weak but clear. "Human. Kind. Heartstrong." Mark took a deep breath. Their world threw them away like trash. Their hunters treated them like tools. And yet, somehow they believed humans were good. But something else bothered him. "How did you learn English?" he asked. Aaron looked at Mira. Mira smiled softly. She placed her hand on her temple, then pointed to Mark. "Feel," she said. Then she touched her own chest. "Share." Mark froze. "Wait, you can send thoughts, emotions?" Aaron nodded. "Only small, only when close." That explained the visions, the sadness he felt, the strange connection. "That means," Mark whispered, "you can feel our emotions too?" Mira nodded gently. "Human sadness, heavy. But human love, very strong." Mark looked down. He thought of his late wife, the loneliness he carried, the nights he cried quietly so Lily wouldn't hear. Maybe they had felt all of it before he could speak again. The hologram flickered. 3 red dots appeared. Mark recognized them instantly. "Enemy vehicles. They found us," he said. Arin struggled to stand. Mira grabbed his arm, fear returning to her eyes. Lily squeezed Mark's hand. "What do we do now?" Mark stared toward the dark forest. He wasn't sure how, but he knew one thing. "I protect you," he said. "All of you." The distant engines grew louder. The hunters were closing in. The old cabin trembled as the distant rumbling grew louder. Rain hammered the roof like warning drums. Mark stood near the window, staring into the dark forest where faint lights flickered. Between the trees, the hunters were coming. Aaron struggled to stand, leaning heavily against the wall. His glowing silver eyes dimmed with every breath. Mira held onto his arm, whispering something in her alien language, words full of fear and love. Little Lily clung to Mark's hand. "Dad, I'm scared." "I know," Mark whispered, pulling her close. "But I'm here. I won't let anything happen to you." But inside, doubt shook him. He was only one man, unarmed, exhausted, trapped inside an old wooden cabin with a child and 2 weak aliens. How could he protect them from 3 vehicles full of hunters? A sudden crack echoed from the forest. Headlights appeared. Tall shadows moved between the trees' armored figures, their metallic suits glowing with the same 3-circle symbol from Myra's hologram. Mira gasped and pressed herself against Aaron. Mark felt a surge of anger. How could anyone chase 2 old people with such cruelty? He stepped forward, closing the wooden door and locking it, even though he knew a lock meant nothing to creatures with advanced technology. "We need to hide," Mark said. "All of you, now." He led Lily, Aaron, and Mira to a small storage room behind the cabin. Dusty boxes filled the corners, and the smell of old paper filled the air. "Stay down. Stay silent," Mark told them. Mira shook her head weakly. She touched Mark's arm. "Danger. For you," she whispered. "They hurt. Human too." "I know," Mark said. "But you're not the only ones they're coming for. They won't spare Lily. They won't spare any of us. So I stand between them and this door." Mira's eyes glowed with sadness and respect. Aaron raised his hand, touching Mark's forehead gently. A spark of warm light passed from Aaron's skin into Mark's mind. Suddenly, Mark felt stronger, like someone had lifted a layer of fear off his heart. Aaron whispered, "Protect family." Mark swallowed hard. "I will." He shut the storage door. The cabin grew silent. Then dash boom. The front door shook violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. The hunters were outside. Mark grabbed the only thing he could use as a weapon, a heavy flashlight. Not much, but better than empty hands. He stood in front of the broken wooden door, breath shaking but eyes determined. Deep metallic voice echoed from outside. "Return the escaped elders. Human, step aside." Mark yelled back, "They're under my protection. Leave now or..." The voice interrupted, cold and emotionless. "Human life is not required. Move or be removed." Mark's heartbeat thundered in his ears. He kept standing. The door exploded inward. Splinters flew across the room. Mark covered his face and fell backward. 3 tall armored hunters stepped inside, their glowing visors scanning the room. They looked almost human, but stronger, sharper, built like living weapons. One of them pointed at Mark. "Human resistance detected." Mark swung the flashlight. It hit the hunter's armor and bounced off harmlessly. The hunter knocked Mark down easily, sending him sliding across the floor, but Mark scrambled back up, blood on his lip, determination burning in his eyes. "I'm not letting you take them," he growled. The hunter moved closer. Just then, a cloudy unifying in his eyes. Soft blue light filled the room. The storage door opened. Mira stepped out, holding her flickering device high above her head. The light expanded like a small protective shield. Aaron followed, leaning heavily on the wall. "No," Myra whispered. "Hurt no one." The hunters paused, analyzing the energy coming from the device, but the blue light flickered weakly. "It wouldn't last." The hunter leader raised his arm, preparing to strike. Mark ran in front of Myra. "Stop," he shouted. "If you want them, you go through me first." The hunter's glowing visors stared at him. The room felt frozen. Then a sudden loud whirring sound echoed from above the cabin. The hunters turned their heads. Outside, a beam of white light shot down through the trees. Something or someone was arriving. The hunters stepped back, confused. Mark stared upward with wide eyes. Aaron whispered one trembling word: "Hope." The bright beam of white light cut through the heavy rain like a sword from the sky. The trees shook from the sudden force, and the hunters froze in confusion. Mark shielded his eyes, squinting up through the broken cabin roof. "What is that?" Lily whispered, trembling behind him. Aaron stared at the sky with awe and fear mixed together. "It is signal," he said weakly. but not ours, not Hunter's. Mira's blue device pulsed with faint light, responding to the beam as if it recognized it. She looked at Mark, her silver eyes wide. "We must go," she said. "Now, before Hunters." "Call more." The Hunter leader stepped forward. "Do not move. Surrender the elders." Mark felt something rise inside him, a deep fire, a decision stronger than fear. "No," he said, voice steady. "They're leaving with me." He grabbed Lily's hand and helped Aaron up. Mira supported Aaron from the other side. They ran out. Through the back door, just as a Hunter fired a shockwave blast that shattered the cabin wall into flying pieces of wood. Mark pushed Lily to the ground, shielding her with his body. "Dad!" She cried. "I'm okay, run. Go." The group sprinted toward the old water tower, its black shape rising above the forest like a tall, rusted guardian. Rain soaked their clothes, mud splashed under their feet, and the Hunters' heavy steps thundered behind them. Mira pointed at the tower. "Up there," she said. "Signal pod. Start from height." Mark didn't understand, but he trusted her. They reached the metal ladder. Mira went first, slow but determined. Lily followed, climbing quickly. Mark stayed below with Aaron, pushing him upward. With as much strength as he had left, halfway up, Aaron collapsed, unable to lift himself. "Dad!" Lily called from above. "He can't move." Mark wrapped Aaron's arm around his shoulders. "It's okay," Mark said. "Hold on to me." With shaking legs, he climbed step by step, carrying Aaron's full weight. Rain made the ladder slippery, but Mark refused to stop. Below them, the Hunters reached the tower base. "Capture priority. High," the leader said in his cold metallic voice. They began climbing another ladder on the opposite side. Mark's heart pounded. He had seconds, not minutes. Finally, they reached the top platform. The wind was fierce, and the old tower groaned under the storm. Lily held Mira's hand tightly, trying to steady her. "Mira," Mark said breathlessly, "what do we do now?" Mira placed the blue device in the center of the platform. The device shook, sparked, then projected a faint circular symbol above it. "Need power," she whispered. "Need sky. Open." Aaron crawled to her side. He placed his hand over hers. "Mira." Together. Light spread between their hands, soft at first, then brighter, like a tiny star waking up. Their energy flowed into the broken device, repairing its circuits with glowing threads of blue. The Hunters climbed closer. Their metal boots hit the ladder rungs loudly. Mark grabbed a loose metal pipe. He was exhausted. His arms shook. His body ached. But he stood in front of Lily, in front of Aaron and Myra, refusing to step back. "Please," he whispered to himself, "just give them time." The device flashed once, twice. Then a column of blue light shot upward from the tower, piercing the storm clouds. A deep hum filled the air, vibrating through the metal platform. The beam widened, pulsing with power. The Hunters paused, confused. Then the sky opened. A massive peacekeeping ship appeared through the clouds, sleek, silver, calm. Nothing like the Hunters' harsh machines. Its lights glowed with the same gentle blue as Myra's device. Aaron's eyes filled with tears. "Home, not lost," he whispered. "Kind ones answer." But the Hunters were not done. The leader raised his weapon and aimed at Mira. Mark moved without thinking. He stepped in front of her, raising the pipe like a shield. "You want them?" he shouted. "Come through me." The Hunter fired. A blast of energy cracked through the air. Aaron pushed Mark aside and took the hit. Mira screamed. Aaron collapsed against Mark's arms, glowing faintly weak, but alive. Above them, the peacekeeping ship descended fast. Mark looked at Aaron, then at Mira, then at Lily. He knew their lives depended on one thing now. His final choice: stand, fight, and protect them, or lose everything. And Mark chose to stand. The peacekeeping ship descended slowly. its silver hull glowing softly through the storm. Rain turned into mist around it, pushed away by a warm blue energy field. The metal platform of the water tower shook gently as the ship hovered above them. Mark held Aaron tightly. The old alien's glowing skin flickered like a fading lantern. Mira knelt beside him, whispering in her trembling voice, "Stay with me." Lily clung to Mark's arm, tears mixing with the rain on her cheeks. "Dad, is he going to be okay?" "I hope so," Mark whispered, his heart heavy. The hunters climbed onto the tower, ready to attack again, but the peacekeeping ship reacted first. A bright ring of light spread outward from its underside. When the wave touched the hunters, it froze them in place, locking their bodies like statues of metal and shadow. The leader tried to move but failed. "Peacekeeper technology detected," he said coldly. "Retreat impossible." A new voice came from the ship, calm, warm, and firm. "Elder Aaron, Elder Mira, we heard your call." A small circular door opened in the ship's lower section. A platform of glowing light extended outward, stopping just inches from the water tower. From inside the ship, 3 figures appeared, tall, gentle, wearing smooth silver armor without weapons. Mira cried with relief. "Kind ones they come." One of the peacekeepers stepped forward. His eyes glowed like soft moons. "We have searched for you for many years," he said gently. "Your signal shows great courage." Mira nodded and took Aaron's hand. "Human helped us," she said. "Human saved our lives." The peacekeeper turned to Mark. His face was unreadable at first, alien, distant. But then he bowed his head slightly, a gesture of deep respect. "Human protector," he said. "Your bravery is rare among the stars." Mark felt warmth spread inside him. He wasn't a hero. He wasn't strong or trained or powerful. He was just a single dad trying to do the right thing. Aaron squeezed Mark's hand weakly. "You saved family," Aaron whispered. Mark swallowed hard. "I only did what any good person should do." "Not any," Myra replied softly. "Many worlds forget kindness, but humans still remember." Lily wiped her tears. "Will they be safe now?" The peacekeeper nodded. "Yes, child, they will come with us. We will give them home, care, respect. They will not be hunted again." Mira leaned close to Lily, pressing a faintly glowing hand over the girl's heart. "You, little light," she whispered. "You gave us hope. Take this." From her robe, she pulled out a small crystal soft blue, shaped like a gentle tear. It glowed warmly in Lily's hands. "For memory," Mira said. "For courage." Lily held it tightly, smiling through her tears. Aaron slowly rose with Myra's help. The peacekeepers lifted him carefully onto the light platform. Mira turned back to Mark one last time. "You showed us," she said, "that humans are strong. Because they protect not only their own, but strangers too." Mark didn't know what to say. No words felt big enough. "Take care of each other," he finally whispered. Mira smiled, soft, glowing, full of love. "We will." The peacekeepers stepped onto the light platform with Aaron and Mira. The bridge slowly lifted, pulling them into the ship. The hunters below vanished in another flash of blue, transported away for judgment. Then the peacekeeping ship rose higher and higher until it disappeared through the clouds like a falling star traveling backward. The forest became quiet. Again. Mark held Lily in his arms. They stood together on the tower, watching the sky. "Dad?" Lily said softly. "Yes? Do you think we'll ever see them again?" Mark looked at the glowing crystal in Lily's hand. It pulsed once like a heartbeat. He smiled. "Maybe. Someday," he said. "And if they ever need us, they'll find their way home." The storm clouds parted above them, revealing a small patch of stars, bright, gentle, and full of promise. Human kindness had reached across the universe. And full of promise. Human kindness had preached across the human kindness had reached across the universe. The universe had answered.